They came here to provide badly needed medical equipment to this African hospital.
What we could do there is put $1 million system in and then get into the training all in a week's time is pretty phenomenal to see that.
And they came to teach on the trends in modern healthcare and training doctors and nurses on the new high-tech heart monitors.
There are a lot of prayers, there are a lot of blessings, and there are a lot of hard hours of work that people do together. And that's what it's about.
Next on Salinas Valley Memorial's LifetimeTV. The Buganda Medical Center Choir in Mwanza, Tanzania, celebrating a milestone for this African hospital, a new state-of-the-art monitoring system unlike any other in this country. It is the result of a humanitarian mission that brought a volunteer team from Salinas Valley Memorial to Africa and a large hospital on Lake Victoria in the country of Tanzania.
We start out by doing missionary work and kind of extending the motto of neighbors who care.
The team brought in cardiac care equipment and its bedside monitors. It was fabulous equipment that GE donated.
Gosh, the hospital we were at was a 700-bed hospital that was built in the 70s by the Israelis, and it's all concrete structure, but it didn't have any high-tech equipment.
Mwanza is on Lake Victoria, right on the lake, and of course Lake Victoria is a monstrous lake. So it's like Lake Tahoe, only about 10 times the size, but no people.
And you see the old sailboats on Lake Victoria that look like they were from the biblical times, one big sail, and it hasn't changed at all, the Nile River. And you see that, and then you look up and you see on the side of this mountain this huge 7-story building out of concrete. It's pretty shocking. But then you go inside and it hasn't been maintained, and there's so much trouble related to AIDS patients that there's all the emotions of that and all the frustration of people dying right there.
All you have is a bed, a mattress, maybe a sheet, maybe a blanket. It's just very, it's dirty. They try their best, but it's, they just don't have the resources that we have here.
I met one of the women that was very instrumental in getting the team, the United States team there, and her words to us was, "We just got tired of seeing everybody who entered these rooms die, and we wanted to build these type of rooms that you've brought us, where people know that they have a chance to live. If they get this kind of care, they can live."
We brought in another Rotary Club. We were with about 8 Rotary Clubs, and Rotary International. They brought in people that were owners of electrical companies, and all these people came and they actually helped install. So we had about 25 people installing, and they worked around the clock. We were there, we even painted the facility. We worked with Assist International and Rotary International. We brought in and assembled a nursing station that was put together in a week's time, and all the monitors up in a week. Now that would take in a hospital in the United States probably 4 months.
When you do a medical project, you want to do it quickly. You want it, and because you know it's going to save lives. You use a lot of volunteers, and when it's completed, it's almost a sacred thing, because you know that you have provided something that will save the life of a person. And everyone who is involved in a project like that, when they come home, they can hardly even describe the good feelings of doing something good for somebody.
The hospital had their own choir, and they had a lot of musical talent, so it was pretty fun to see that, all the enthusiasm.
It was an outreach program, basically to help people that are very talented, that have the abilities to take care of the patients, but are less fortunate because their financial situation doesn't allow them to afford this type of technology that we brought.
We didn't have perhaps the most modern equipment, but they certainly had the technology. They had the brain power, that the physicians were well trained to handle the work.
The work that that group has to do to prepare for you coming there is enormous. The commitment they have to make, you know, they have to be at a level where they're saying, we're ready. We may be a third world country in Tibet or Mongolia or Africa, but we are ready to take this on because we want better for our people.
A lot of people come with promises, but not many come with solutions. And Bob Pageant with Assist International comes with solutions. He knows how to deliver.
When we went there, I think they didn't think that it was even going to happen. Because when we arrived, a lot of stuff they were supposed to have done was not done.
And when you look at this photo, you have to understand when we got there, that was a dirt floor. That was a dirt floor. All the wiring was laid, all that tile was laid, the entire thing. All the beds have been moved in. To see everybody working around the clock, doing whatever it takes, opening boxes, carrying, sweeping, painting. I mean, Sam Downing painting the walls. It didn't matter what your title is, you just help.
I love doing it. I like the hard work. I like to see what we accomplish. And I like to see what it gives those people. Almost every mission that we've been on, after we have completed it, we'll come back in the next day and they'll say, oh, someone's life was saved because they were having a heart attack and we didn't even know it. So it's like, oh man, that's great. It really makes you feel like you've done something worthwhile.
I have a good friend who has told me that to whom much is given, much is expected. And our hospital family has received many blessings, and it's just such a gratifying position to be in, to be able to return some of these blessings in ways that people substantially need them in other parts of the world.
We saw a lot of AIDS babies, and that really affected me. And knowing, you know, walking into the room, seeing 3 babies in one crib, some of them having not even diapers, just rags on them, knowing they're going to die within 24 hours.
They're laying on a sheet. They don't have bottles. They don't have clothes. It was really hard, you know, to see them hold a baby up and, you know, new life, and take a paper cup and have to squeeze the cup and pour the liquid into their mouth as, you know, this baby's trying to suck this liquid, this porridge. And I'd never seen anything like that.
And all the AIDS babies we went and saw. Then there's a burn unit we saw, so that was it was very difficult to see all the tragedy they had. Now, a lot of the burn victims, the kids, are because in their huts or their small living facilities, they have a center fire.
They have a fire pit that they cook on, and then they use it for warmth. And the children play around it, and they fall in, and it's unbelievable.
These trips touch the heart in a lot of ways. Part of it, and probably the most difficult part, is seeing so much of the poverty. Poverty is hard to see, and probably part of the most challenging part, because it is so different than what we have in the United States. It's you know, children near death, and quite a few of them. However, you know, the good side is you know that you can make a difference. You know that you've got to continue to do these kind of things.
They don't really have a lot of the things we take for granted in this country, but such as local transportation and paved streets, which you didn't find much of in Mwanza.
I think I took, you know, the United States and where I live for granted. You know, a penny over there, a pencil over there is like gold to them. To me, it was nothing. I mean, it was like, you know, throw it away in the garbage. To them, they'll give you the shirt off their back for a pencil.
When we gave out the little stuffed animals that we have, some of those children never had a toy before. And so it was like, this is hard for us to fathom.
Appreciation that you get from going on these trips is how much we really have in America when it comes to healthcare. Till you've been outside the country and see what other people have and what they experience and think that's really good, you don't really have an appreciation of what we have in this country.
We, as a people and as individuals, we have so much, and I just think that we need to share it. And it's amazing how little the biggest majority of the world has.
You realize you can make a difference. And you get out on these trips and you get into these cities and into the hospitals or orphanage situations or whatever it is, and you see such incredible need. And I say often that many nights I'll cry myself to sleep because you see these poor people and then you think, why was I so blessed to be born in America, to have all that I have? And then you're just so driven to try to help these people.
The people are very warm and wonderful. You know, a smile is a universal language, so you can share a smile with somebody. And
we were able to meet students, and the students had just perfectly pressed clothes, and they were so clean and neat. And you wonder just how everybody's able to look like that. It's just amazing. And then they had nursing caps on, and they were so enthusiastic about school, and I could show them my camera and play it back and just share it with them, and they were very appreciative.
My role, along with Sam Downing, was to put on an educational session for the doctors and administrative people at the facility and at the university, which is also part of the hospital, on what's new in healthcare, where's healthcare going in the future. And I think they were very pleased with getting that kind of input from us folks in America.
These are people that have huge challenges. Their population issues, there's the diseases, the poverty, you know, the lack of education, but there are a lot of kind spirits. In Africa, you do not pass people without greeting them. You connect with each person that you meet. It would be sort of unheard of, even the person that you didn't like, that you wouldn't nod or greet them. And I think, what a wonderful thing if we did that in the United States.
You know, you just kind of get excited about the warmth and appreciation, not only that you're able to finish something from start to finish, but you're able to see the eyes of those that didn't believe that was even able to happen. And here, they're a part of the ceremony, and they're just beside themselves, wondering, how did this gift come here?
When you are back home to the United States, please convey our sincere gratitude to the government of the United States, to your president, and the people of the United States. We shall never forget this help that you have rendered to us. Thank you very much.
You are able to now prove yourself with this foundation that's being laid before you, this equipment. This equipment is just the first step in many steps towards making this a greater institution.
This Friday, you will see a miracle before you. And that miracle is because of the partnership.
On behalf of GE Medical Systems, I just want to, I'm beside myself. It's truly an honor.
There are dedicated Rotarians around the world who think in those terms. How can I serve above myself? And that's a marvelous way to live. It was that spirit and that idea that generated our partnership in this project.
And when we got done, they had a first-class intensive care unit, really ready to go. And it was amazing what you could accomplish in just a week's time of them getting the room finished for us, and then the team putting in the equipment.
And to walk into the ICU, where they used to call these rooms of death, where now they call them room, because of what we did, you know, a room of life, a room of hope. And that is just, you know, it just touches places in your heart that a lot of things in your life don't touch.
Initially, there's a lot of dependency. Toward the end, there's none, because the handoff has gone well. You know, you pass the torch and they've taken it on and they want it. It's theirs now. So, you know, while initially we mentor and teach, we show, at the end we stand back and we watch. And that's when you're proud. And that's when you're so thrilled that you know it belongs to them.
This unit that we installed, which is about 18-bed monitoring system installed, puts that as the most advanced center in Tanzania.
I remember going to a certain doctor and handing him a book, and he said, even if you didn't come and you just brought me this book, you're going to change the kind of care we can give the people in our village. And now that's the kind of thing that brings you back over and over again. When you can bring something so simple as a medical book to make a change, it's almost, how could I not go? How could I not keep going?
Well, I'm still getting letters from the young student nurses that were in the Mwanza, Tanzania hospital, and they said, I hope that someday we can help others like you helped us. And I think that it's such a difference for the people.
When our group comes and puts in the cardiac monitoring equipment, it helps them immensely. It says the world does care and does bring equipment to them.
The contributions they've made to those cities and villages and things all over the world has come back to us in many fold. Just seeing the satisfaction of the patients and this kind of equipment that they had never seen before was quite satisfying.
Though this is a team made up of Salinas Valley Memorial volunteers, the hospital does not pay for the trip. Everybody pays their own way and uses their vacation time. With the installation complete and the physicians and nurses trained, these volunteers end their week of round-the-clock work and head out for some well-deserved rest and relaxation.
We, of course, all pay our own way and take our own vacation time. And the nurses that go along, they get to do something that's very rewarding, and then we all travel for another 5 to 8 days, and that's going to be very exciting too.
I was raised on a ranch growing up, and so I've always loved wildlife and dreamed of seeing some of the wildlife that we've seen on some of these trips.
Part of the fun about doing something like this is you do work really hard, and at the end we always do a little bit of R&R somewhere. And the idea is to try to take in the culture of the area and try to see what the area is all about.
Oh, the wildlife's amazing. I mean, it's better than the best.
You've just been through some trauma of what you've seen, you know, from the whole experience and from a lot of pain and seeing people in suffering, that I think it's wonderful to balance it by seeing the beauty of the land.
And then we took this adventure to go into Rwanda. Wow, that's another one. That's another life-changing, totally life-changing experience.
And those animals are beautiful. You know, seeing the gorillas in the forest is just something I never even dreamed I'd do. And they were awesome. They were awesome. They were just a few feet away.
This most recent trip to Africa was the latest in a series of humanitarian missions that has taken this team to 10 countries, donating and installing more than $10 million in medical equipment and training healthcare workers all over the world.
Our favorite team and our veteran team comes from Salinas Valley Memorial Hospital. We have the same vision. We think alike. Everybody knows what their jobs are.
They are always an enthusiastic crowd, and they always have such wonderful training and teaching that they do, and it's just been a real pleasure to work with Salinas Valley Hospital.
So we love and value our relationship very much with Salinas Valley Healthcare Systems.
We are a team, and we kind of know what each other's feeling, and we work really well together. And it's hard work, but it's so fulfilling that it's unbelievable.
And then when you go through it, you always feel a lot better about yourself and about how you may have affected and changed lives. And so I think it can be very rewarding.
Neighbors who care, going to Africa and China and Tibet and all over the place, and has built teamwork and esprit de corps within the hospital that is outstanding.
And it's really a gift to me and to all of us to be able to do this.
It's taught me a lot that you can make a difference. I think a lot of people don't think they can make a difference. And I think there's a lot we can do.
The first times that I went, I thought as though we were bringing them the benefits of more modern science and efficiencies in healthcare. But after the first couple, I realized that they were the teachers and we were the beneficiaries.
They'll come back changed. And when you come back changed, you begin to look at people differently, even in America. And you start becoming sensitive to the poor and the needy and how blessed you are. And you start asking yourself, what can I do to make a difference?
That's real rewarding from my personal standpoint, to be able to go to some place like Mwanza, Tanzania, make a project happen that helps other people.
And it's a great opportunity to share and to learn and to see how the rest of the world lives. Because we are so fortunate. Most people don't really realize how fortunate we are.
It makes a difference in your own life, and it makes a difference in lives for other people. That, perhaps it's the age that you come to in your own life that you've received so much from so many different people. At some point in your life, you want to give that back.
It's hard to be able to try to save the world, but there's a lot of places that do need help. It's a great experience. And if you really get half of what is being offered, you come out with a satisfaction to realize that life has got so many great values to it. There's a lot to this.
It does make a difference, and you feel so fulfilled in your life. And you're not just earning money, or you're not just biding your time in a job. You're able to touch people's lives in a way that you never could in just a corporation. But because we can make a difference for other people, that's why we're so driven.
Good morning, Assist International. This is Sue.
Assist International is a driven organization. Started by Bob Paget and his wife Charlene in Scotts Valley, they have traveled the world bringing donated medical equipment to places that need it. And they have created home communities for Romanian orphan children. And though their travel takes them to some dangerous territory, they are not fearful of the danger.
I'll tell you why I'm not afraid to go to the hot spots of the world is partly because if something would ever happen, I'd rather die with my boots on.
I told my daughters not too long ago, they're married and we have grandchildren, blessed with a wonderful family, but I said, if anything happens, we go into some very dangerous places. And so the last trip I said, if anything happens to us or the plane goes down, I said, don't grieve long. We've already lived 9 lives in one.
Assist International is an amazing organization. Bob and Char Paget are phenomenal people. And any time you can do work with them, you're blessed. They give, they're not in it for glory, they're not in it for money, they're not in it for anything other than helping. And their hearts are in the right place.
Well, I think Bob and his wife Charlene are probably 2 of the greatest people that I've ever met. I spent a lot of time with Bob on these trips and his wife. And they're 2 very dedicated individuals. They really have something good going. And they've been doing this probably now for almost 14 years.
I think that he is such an example of someone who actually practices what he believes. And he's just the most giving man I know.
We only see 1 project a year with them, but they're doing these projects every month of the year. And I think Bob and Charlene actually live in an airplane.
I'm driven by the results of saving lives and rescuing abandoned and orphan children. I'm also driven by my own personal faith, and I just feel like that it's important for people to make a difference, and if possible to give a cup of water in the name of the Lord. And I've spent time with Mother Teresa. I've spent 2 or 3 days with her, and those are life-changing experiences. To me, she truly is a saint. And I pray for the same kind of motivation in my own heart that she had in hers. You know, you come back humbled by what you've been involved in. And there's such a need out there. There's no time for pride. There's no time to look back and say, look what we've accomplished. Because there's just too many needs. I'm humbled by our relationship with Salinas Valley Memorial Healthcare Systems, because they don't even know how this relationship has opened doors. I mean, when I look back, if you would have asked us when we started 14 years ago in the back bedroom of a home to where we are right now, and the huge projects and the relationship we have with some of the largest manufacturing corporations in America, like GE and Tyco, and then Siemens and Philips, when you see all of that, it all really started by our relationship with Salinas Valley Memorial Hospital. And I will forever feel very close to that organization and Sam Downey because of that.
There isn't anything I don't think you can do in this life rather than to give back. It's so fulfilling, and it's an honor to be able to give to other people.
There's a spiritual side to a hospital, and there's a very strong spiritual side in all of us, and it's a way that we can give back.